we're going to get started here, and just got the short little video, and then we'll just do a little bit of an intro. Many of you, it seems, do know Christine, and Christine is the car lady, and we had her on Monday with some other ladies, and I'm just thoroughly impressed, having been a longtime car guy, at a lady that gets involved in fixed ops. It's always been tough in the car business. Let's not kid each other. And I know a lot of guys that follow in the category of Flotsam and Jepson that have just been run over, spit up and chewed out by the business. And to get into fixed ops, which is still the last bastion of men being boys, and for such a long time, it's thoroughly impressive. And I know quite a few lady service managers, and what I like about you, Christine, is you don't have the obvious edge.
No, I've been in this business for a long time, and I've been a unicorn for a long time. And I really appreciate the fact that I was a female in this business, right? Like, the femaleness is what gave me the role. I built a company out of being a woman in the car business.
Yep.
Right? That's what the branding came from.
Perfect. So the perfect to do, you have a 75-minute, okay, 1 minute, nice little blurb from Christine for her promotional video, and we shall be doing it now. Can you see it?
Get ready, y'all.
And I'm the car lady.
Where is
For the
she?
last 22 years, I've been educating customers at dealerships
see
across
it?
Canada.
No, I can't see it.
No.
Okay, hold on a
As a
minute.
former technician, I have.
As I said, Ian is the
Oh,
tech
hey there.
Ian. Oh, hey there.
Oh, hey there.
Let's try this one more time. Share screen, 2, share. And how about now?
There she is.
There she is.
Smiling face, and here we
Oh,
go.
hey there. My name is Christine Mitchell, and I'm the car lady. For the last 22 years, I've been educating customers at dealerships across Canada with my Know Your Car Night events. As a former technician, I have the training and the experience to be your second chance at a first impression. A common challenge I see is dealerships spending thousands attracting new business, and yet spending very little to keep it. Customer retention is less expensive than customer acquisition. The most exciting thing for a customer is picking up their vehicle. But with so much technology in a vehicle today, they often don't understand how half of it works. Know Your Car Night can bridge that gap between your sales and service departments. I'm here with my team to increase the overall enjoyment of the customer experience, leading to both customer retention and revenue for your dealership. We want to create a customer for life with your dealership. Our turnkey events can provide the marketing materials and train your team on our proven systems for success. Our track record speaks for itself. Give me a call and let's book a Know Your Car Night for your dealership. Together, we can create customers for life.
I love cartoon mini-me.
So I have to say, it was only just until this morning that I catch on to the pink.
Yeah,
So-
the pink is the branding, right?
Exactly. So without further ado, I will turn it over to you. We have Sandra has joined us, and it's your show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me to be on the show today. Hi, everybody. Many of you know me already. My name is Christine Mitchell, and I am the car lady. And I've had the pleasure of being in the car business now for the last 23 years as the Car Lady Canada. I got in the industry at the tender age of 16, and I started out in the lube lane of a dealership in my hometown. Apprenticed out of the store, went to college, and turned a wrench for a number of years. And then when I found out I was expecting my daughter 23 years ago, there was no such thing as maternity coveralls. So I decided to put down my wrenches and become the car lady. Yeah. Now, the reason I started the car lady was because at the time, 23 years ago, I was working at a General Motors dealership. And there wasn't very many female technicians at that time, but back in the day, General Motors brought out a program called Smart Car Care. And so I hosted it for my home dealership. And then when I decided to leave the dealership world and go on the road as the car lady, I used that program as a prototype to build out what I thought people really wanted to know, in particular women, about the vehicle they just purchased and how to take care of it long term. So the car lady was born from that. I really started with $300, the worst looking flyers you've ever seen in your life, a lot of automotive knowledge, a great voice. And I went door to door to door to all the dealerships and started the car lady. Now, I didn't even choose the name, the car lady. It chose me, because everywhere I would go, someone would say, oh, there's that car lady. Hey, there's that car lady. Is the car lady here? And that's how the name began. So that's what sort of stuck. And the pink that the car lady wears and always wears in all my logos and all my designs is because of A, it looks really good on me. And B, because it was no manufacturer carried that color. And it emphasized the fact that I was the car lady. So the color pink sort of became my signature color, so to speak, because I could turn that, the femaleness, again, the femaleness of being in the automotive industry into my career. So I wanted people to know that I was a woman. It was a, you know, people often say, well, there's a bias against women in the automotive industry. I decided to flip that script on its ear and turn being a woman in the car business into an advantage. How can I utilize this to my advantage? Everybody knows I'm a girl. I can't get around that. But you got to, if you're the smartest in the room and the friendliest in the room and the most outgoing in the room, and you provide good service, those kind of things just fade to the background. And that's what I decided to do, to become the car lady. So that's why always the pink. That's where the name came from. That's how it all started.
I have to say, I'm very impressed with this whole concept, because dealers always talk about having ladies' nights, and so ladies understand and everything else. And men always pretend they do, which we know. You know more than I do. They don't know squat. But the fact that just seeing what you do, the pink is a great branding thing. And I think it softens everything up, because it is a very intimidating thing.
Well, you know, in my events, so we do 2 events at the Car Lady Canada. And we now refer to ourselves as the Car Lady Canada, because we, for the first time about 3 years ago, started going out of province. So I go all the way out to Newfoundland, right, to see my friends out there. And then I've got a client in Calgary as well. So I'm willing to travel now. You see, before, when Michaela, my daughter, was little, you couldn't be away for nights and nights on end. And now she's away in college herself. She's doing a marketing degree. So my time is my own, and so I can travel. I'd love to work with dealer groups, so that if I do fly to Calgary, I can do 2 or 3 events at shows as dealers in a group in one night, or I mean in successive nights. So when I flew out to Calgary I went down to High River and then into Calgary. I did a women's event one night, and then a Know Your Car night the next night, and then flew home. So if you're going to fly me out there, you might as well get your money's worth out of me. That's the way I look at it. And so the 2 events that we do, one is called Know Your Car Night. Now, it's been called a lot of different things, right? It's been called second delivery. It's been called new owners orientation. It's been called smart car care, VIP service. A bird by a different feather still flaps the same. So Know Your Car Night is my version of it, because I want you to know your car. And I don't want to just talk about all the great things at the dealership, although we do highlight that. I want to be answering the questions that you've got from the delivery to the now. So say, for example, you just picked up your new Audi, and you know, it's a different world now, but back in the day, dealerships would say to me, the delivery is so rushed, right? It takes so much time to get through the delivery process that sometimes the sales to service handoff doesn't happen the way we'd like. But I like to take it a step further, because I know on that Audi that the MMI is going to need to be reviewed. And so we not only cover the dealership services and products, but we do it as an education piece on the technologies of today's vehicles. Okay, so my Know Your Car Night is about retention, about experience, and it's about building what I like to call a customer for life, so that I've educated you on all the great things that we have down the road. Okay, so Know Your Car Night is a turnkey system where we can actually work with a dealership who wants to offer this event to their stores. We provide you with the marketing materials to pre-register guests at delivery. We provide you with the training in store. And then we do all of your emails and all of your phone calls if you like. Now, some stores work with my good friend Felicity. I see her down there. Some stores have their own BDC, or they have their own contact management system. Great. But if some stores need that help, I'm happy to provide those services as well. So we can turn the key, the whole thing for you. Basically what I say is you book the dates, I'll do the rest. We typically start the event at 6:30 in the evening. We're done by 8. And we go through, we don't leave until every question is answered.
I assume that you coach the dealerships, if they're on BDC or people handle the outgoing calls, I assume you coach them on the word tracks, etc.
Absolutely. So there is a way to get people to come, and it's more than just thank you. It's it's a lot of times it can be included with, you know, we've got gifts, we've got refreshments, but people want that education piece. They want that technology piece. They want that more than ever. You see, when I first started doing these shows, and people remember me from back in the day because I still work with the first dealership I ever signed 23 years ago. I still do their events. It used to be, we went out, we looked under the hood. I took them out to the shop. We looked around out there. We went through exhaust. We went through this. We went through that. Now, people want to talk about Bluetooth, lane departure, crash avoidance, blind spot monitor, you know, using the MMI properly, Alexa, that's the new thing. So we do that technology piece. Now, some of that still applies, but I don't do the fluids, belts, and hoses stuff that I used to do. And I'm certainly not standing at the front holding up dirty parts because nobody cares. They want to know how, make my stuff work, and then take me out to the shop so I can see where my baby's going. That's what people want. Yeah. And in the shop, I love doing the brake demo because I believe that the brake service is one of the most underutilized services that's offered at a dealership. And I'm all about pulling that caliper back, lubing the sliders, and keeping those pads and rotors in good condition. And so I'm really big with the brake service.
So you think a brake flush is a good thing to have, huh?
Well, we don't flush the brake fluid until required typically. There's no real interval for brake fluid anymore, but a brake service where you've got the rotor and you've got the caliper on the end. You want to pull that caliper back, clean those pads, lubricate the sliders that need the caliper move, and the piston system inside that squeezes the actual pads, because there's a lot of dirt and debris and oxidation that occurs inside that system. So I like to get that cleaned out. I like to say on average once a year or 32,000 K. Some stores say once a year, 24,000 K.
Although I imagine you get a lot more instances of that out in your neck of the woods than ours here in BC, Vancouver.
Yeah. Of course, right? I'm here in Southwestern Ontario, and I always recommend a brake service. So, you know, if you do a brake service, tip number 1 of the day, kids, do a brake service, spend money on less parts. That's a fact. If you service those brakes, they'll last longer, and you'll spend less money replacing rotors and pads and shoes and all that stuff. Yeah. But just to go back to what people want at the event. So what I want to do is make sure that I'm highlighting again the parts of the dealership. Remember earlier in the video we watched, between sales and service, the car lady can bridge that gap. And earlier I spoke about the delivery goes so quickly. What I want to do is with the Know Your Car Night is bridge the gap so that I'm highlighting what the dealership has to offer. And I usually like to poll the room, right? How many people here knew that we have a tire match price program? You'll get maybe 3 hands out of 50. How many people knew that we have a complete winter tire program with different price points available? Cricket, cricket. How many people knew that we have a tire storage program? How many people know that we sell all our own mats and cleaning products? How many people know that we have a shuttle, that we have a night drop off? So those are the kinds of things we want to talk about at Know Your Car Night. Okay. And we want to set a level of expectation too. Do you know Janice Showers from the Car Girls? She's a great gal. Yeah. So the Car Girls is a different company. They do after service calls. They're a phone company, right? They're a connection company with appointments. The Car Lady does the car clinics. But Janice and I just did a thing the other day about the drive-through and the expectations of the drive-through. Now she's coming at it from the phone call side, and I'm coming at it with the guys standing there side, right? And I said, you know, the number one thing that the dealers tell me that they want me to talk about at Know Your Car Night is, what is an appointment and what does it mean? Because I think a lot of people think it's sort of like the doctor, where I'm bringing the car in at 9 o'clock, I've got an appointment, and we haven't set a level of expectation. So the appointment is actually a check-in time. And so what happens then is that the customer decides to wait, which they should have been pre-qualified for that at phone call. But we're really checking the car in because everybody in the industry knows the shop runs on what is known as a promise time, right? You get your car back based on when you said you needed it. So if you're going to wait for the vehicle to be completed when you make your appointment, and we set you for 9 a.m., chances are we've got a tech ready for you to get in and out. If you set an appointment for 9 a.m. and you're going to take a complimentary shuttle ride to the office and you're not due back till 5 o'clock, your car may not go into the shop until after lunch. But what happens then is you drop the car off at 9 o'clock and then the customer phones you at noon. Is my car done? And you're like, oh, we weren't expecting you back until 5. Oh, well, I had a 9 o'clock appointment, but you didn't really. You had a 9 o'clock check-in time. So we spent a little bit of time with that.
I have a question for you.
Of course.
What percentage of dealerships do a quality check-in?
You mean like a walk around?
With the walk around, when somebody drops their car off, that somebody walks out, because there was a time when it was like, yeah, give me your keys, sign here, goodbye.
And that, I got to be honest with you, Jeff, that does happen. Now, I don't work in the dealerships every day, so do I know as a percentage how many stores are doing the walk around versus they're not? I would say it's a pretty low percentage, right? My most important thing, and I brought this up during the podcast or the Car Girls show that I did with Janice, is it's just the first step, and it's so easy to do, is just greet the customer. So now I've done the after sales seminar and I've talked up your dealership and I've told everybody how great you are, professional, come on in. You come in and you stand in there and nobody says, hi, I'll be right with you. Just need that little greeting, right? It just puts everybody at ease, sets the tone for the appointment. And if the customer says, oh, I'm in a hurry, or, then you can readjust as an advisor. But I don't think the walk around happens as often as we like. Stores that are committed to it though, like I have a lot of stores that are committed to the walk around, do much better on not only RO count, but on overall gross revenue. So if you make the commitment that this is part of the culture of the way we do business, that the customer comes in for their regular check-in time, that they're greeted, that they're taught a walk around, and then they're signing a work order, that you get a much better chance of making more money on the back end. Yeah, but I used to do walk arounds. I think it's because a lot of stores don't have a body shop anymore. It used to be every dealership had a body shop. Remember that? Am I too old? I remember in the store always had, especially in the General Motors world, everybody had a body shop, right? So it gave you an opportunity to maybe upsell something on the body shop side. Well, if you don't have that in the building anymore and you're in a partnership with CarStar or something, that's all fine and good, but you don't have anybody on site. So then you point out something to the customer, oh, well, you've got a ding, you've got a scratch, you've got a stone chip, and you don't have anybody on site. They're less likely to take advantage, I think, of that third-party vendor.
But wouldn't it, but isn't that a way to protect the dealership too by doing that walk around?
Well, absolutely, right? Because how many times have we heard that story? I brought my car in for an oil change and now I can't get it at a park. Although I gotta admit, it's happened to me and I'm the car lady. I was doing an event at a dealership, I won't say who, and I had a service done on my vehicle. And after the event, after the clinic was over, and I collected all the comment cards from the guests because I love that immediate feedback, and everyone thanked me for the show, and it was a great feeling. I went out to the cashier's office, I paid for my car, I come back and I'm driving, and all of a sudden the light comes on that says we have low oil. And I had to pull over because it started to flash. I'm sorry, my phone's ringing. I had to pull over because the light was flashing, and I had to actually get it towed by roadside assistance back to the store. And it turned out, you know, the little gasket that's at the top of the oil filter, the little gasket at the top of the oil filter, because it wasn't a cartridge, it was a screw on. It had been damaged, but they didn't check it before they put it on. And so I started running out of oil. Not a great story.
No.
Sorry. But anyway, the good news is they fixed me right up. They took the car right back to the dealership, and they even serviced my brakes complimentary for my inconvenience, and brought me a loaner car. So.
Well, that's good because you get an experience as a customer as well.
Yeah, because I'd never had that kind of experience before. There's another funny story. Another funny story about service. When I was young and I was just working still in the lube lane, a high school buddy of mine, her name was Susie, and I won't say her last name, Susie and she had a little Dodge Colt. Remember those cars? Little Dodge Colt?
Oh, yeah.
So she needed a service done in her vehicle, so we took it in for she wanted to go to a quick lube. Just about killed me. So we took it into the quick lube, and we're sitting in the waiting room reading the magazines, you know, these old magazines. And the kid comes out and he brings out this dirty air filter. And it was a round air filter. It wasn't like in that car, it would have been this rectangle. But he brings out this cartridge round air filter. And he says to her, excuse me, miss, you're going to need to buy a new air filter. Your air filter's really dirty. You're not getting good air into your engine and blah, blah, blah. And I put my magazine down and I looked over. I said, that's not even the air filter for her car. Like, I don't know who you think you're fooling, but it's not me, and it's certainly not this one. Oh, Lord. Good old days.
So tell us more about what your services provide for dealerships.
Okay. So what we provide then is a turnkey service for Know Your Car Night that invites your customers back to the dealership to teach them about the car they bought and how to take care of it long term. Okay. So our goals with that program is to increase revenues, to increase customer satisfaction, CSI, and to build that long-term relationship with the customer. Currently, people who come to the Know Your Car Night event, 83% of those customers will service with your dealership in the next 3 years. Wow. And that's regular maintenance. That's not just coming in for warranty claims. So you can't really beat those numbers. So when people come to the dealership and they're treated to a Know Your Car Night event, they have a better feeling about you as a store. Because frankly, they can buy their cars from anywhere. We want to show them what the difference is between servicing with you and servicing with the Triangle store. Right? And we all know that there's a big difference.
Do you find a greater sense of engagement on import customers than domestics?
That's a great question. I don't find it. I find it's typically a little bit more attended on the import side, but the engagement and the interest is particularly the same. The only difference that I notice on the import side is whether you're into an import or you're into a luxury import. Okay, the luxury import driver tends to be a little bit more technologically savvy, if that's the right words. And they're not shocked when you tell them the prices of certain things. So
Well,
if you're
isn't it
doing
they're
an
more
event
used
at
to having trouble?
if you're doing an event at a Mercedes dealership and you're explaining to people the difference between OEM rims and tires as opposed to aftermarket, and somebody puts up their hand and says, how much is it? I don't typically normally quote prices, but if they've got the prices advertised in the store, it's not as usually as tough a sell as it is perhaps maybe for a Chevrolet or a Chrysler store or a Toyota or a Honda store. But once you teach people value, this is why we use winter tires. This is why we here at ABC Honda recommend that you take advantage of our winter tire program. Number one, we have a price match guarantee. Okay, so if you go over to the Big Red Triangle store or the place that sells the big packages of toilet paper, as long as, you know what I'm saying. As long as it's a brick and mortar, most stores will offer you a price match guarantee. Also, the rims, most stores only sell OEM rims, which means that the rim that you buy for your RAV or your Pilot or your Durango is designed to fit on the hub of that vehicle. So you're not getting a loose hub fit from your winter tire rim. And finally, the storage program. The storage program is a no-brainer because it builds automatic retention. You've got to come back and get your other set of tires. So I want to make sure that people are really clear about that. But to your point, more about our program is retention, again, increased revenue, that's the return on investment, and just a better over relationship with the dealer.
Sure.
Yeah.
So why should somebody go with the car lady?
Oh, that's a great
instead
question.
of having their own staff do it? And I mean, I've experienced that where the dealer will go, hey, she's a girl, let's get her to talk to everybody.
Yeah, hey, there's a warm body. Yeah, usually the way it works is a lot of people hire me specifically because they know me, they know they can trust me. They know I've done it for a long time and I work with a lot of dealerships. The other, a secondary reason is that this is all we do. The car lady only hosts these events. I'm not dealing with the day-to-day management of staff and technicians, the manufacturer, the customer. When we come into the dealership at 5:30, we are fresh and ready to go. This is what we do. Another reason is because we're trained professional presenters that are unflappable. That means that I've seen a lot of things happen during a car clinic, during a Know Your Car Night event. I've had people throw up. I've had people touching all the food. I've had little kids come. I've had couples argue. And the craziest one is I had a lady whose water broke. When you have a professional presenter in charge of the event, you get a consistent message taught in an unflappable way. Also, your people at the dealership level, while they may be great at what they do, they're not professional presenters. So this is what we do. Another reason to hire the car lady over using your own team is because I've never sold or disappointed these people in any way. I'm your second chance at a first impression. So essentially then, we don't ever get any, so what I call mutiny questions. So if a service manager wants to do the event, they'll at some point get what I call a mutiny question, where somebody will say, hey, how come you don't give us all free oil changes? Right? And now you're not a professional presenter, so now you're dealing with that. Whereas if somebody says to me, hey, Christine, are we all going to get free oil changes? I always say, oh, folks, listen, they don't let me handle the money. You know, I make a joke and keep it moving, right? I've had hecklers, I've had stalkers. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. But when you hire a professional presenter, you get a consistent message I'm a second chance at a first impression. The motto for my company has always been, every year a dealership spends hundreds of thousands of dollars attracting new business. What are we spending to keep it? And it's not an arm and a leg, right? I want to work with good stores that want to work with me. So now I'd like to talk about the next event that we do, the ladies program, if we can. So our ladies event, it's my show, it's a Christine show. The ladies event is called Women at the Wheel. Okay, I like to call it Women at the Wheel because women are in the driver's seat of their own car, making their own decisions and servicing their own vehicles. I've had a lot of people suggest to me heels and wheels and cupcakes and cars, but let's be honest, we're women at the wheel. That's what I like to think of. I want to educate women on a few different things at the Women at the Wheel event. Number one, and I think the most important thing, what to know for safety in case of an emergency. Okay, I think that's the most important thing because I'm not looking to make anybody a mechanic. What I want to do is educate her to know what to do in case of an emergency and in case of a question so that you're protected right from the hop. I'm not even talking about getting the car to the shop. I'm talking about something's just happened. This light's come on. What does that mean? I want to talk about it from the grass loose base level. So we start with that, right? So typically we'll go through things to know in case of an emergency, advice on how to keep your vehicles running its best. That is regular maintenance and schedules, because we want to make sure that you're going through the regular maintenance schedule. So safety, maintenance, right? Keep it running well, looking well. Fun tips everybody loves. Air, fuel, and fire, right? So fuel is a big question I get. Here's an example. I've met women over my years of working in this industry who don't know how to fuel up their own car. And that's okay, right? But when people fuel up their car, it's always important to remember that you don't overfill your gas tank and that you're using the proper octane level that your car is designed for. And I teach them how to find that and how to do that, okay? Also with the women's event, oh my gosh, I'm popular today. My phone's ringing again. I'm sorry about that. Also with the women's event, we also teach them how to change their own tire and how to boost your own battery in case of an emergency. And we also go through what to know when you go into the service department. So essentially, we want to educate women that when you call and make your appointment and you're going in for your regular maintenance appointment, what that means and what you need to know to service and what you need to let go. Yeah, so that's what we do at the women's event. Then again, we also take them all out to the shop and show them a few things under the hood. Like, where is my washer fluid? What's the difference between good washer fluid and cheap washer fluid? Where is my engine oil dipstick? Where did my transmission dipstick go? Right? Because in a new car today, no transmission dipstick, right? So these are the things that, and I love that. Well, my uncle always told me, my dad always looks after the car. So I just want to give them some feedback about that. Also tires, brakes, making good decisions in service.
So what feedback do you get from customers, from dealers, post-event?
Yeah, so post-event, so normally after we've had the event, and typically we get the number of people that attend the event depends on the volume of the store. Typically at the event, we will get feedback immediately from a survey card, because I want to know, and the dealership wants to know how to go. And I have 5 presenters out on the road. And if the next day, if there's a question, my client doesn't call the presenters, he typically calls me. So I want to make sure that I can answer that intelligently. So everyone who attends our event gets a comment card. What did you enjoy about the event? Wish you had to learn more about? And we've also changed it now to be more reactive. For example, there's a box. I would like to be contacted by email. My email address is. I would like to be contacted by text message. My cell phone number is, so that we can build that database with the customer. And I would like to know more about events like these. And so we do that comment card at the end of the event to be interactive with the guests. Everybody also leaves with a cleaning tips card, which I consider to be the car lady's top 10 car cleaning tips on how to keep your vehicle looking its best. Detailing is a very underutilized portion of the dealership. And we want to make sure that people are very clear about the detailing services that they provide, as well as any cleaning products that they may have. Yeah,
Terrific.
so that's what we do.
Great. So so actually a question I have for you is during this special time we're in right now,
Yeah.
what can somebody do to reach out to their customers by utilizing you rather than wait till it's okay to have a large group?
Yeah. You know, we can't have a large group right now. Of course, the province says that I'm allowed to have 50 people indoors that are sitting so many feet apart. And when this first happened, of course, a lot of people reached out to me and said, you know, will you go virtual? Will you go digital? And I gave it some really serious thought, but I do believe that this will pass, because there's no way that the Sky Dome is going to be empty forever. And at one point or another, we're going to be able to get people together. There was 3 reasons why I didn't put the event on digital. Number 1, because I'm not going to cut off my nose to spite my face. Number 2, it was not an appropriate time to sell anything to my dealership partners. You know, when the dealerships went down and they had to close their doors and they had to lay off their own people, their goals were just to get people back into work and to be able to conduct business safely. As a vendor, it was not appropriate for me to be putting this whole thing on video and hi, and now I'm here to sell you this. If we are truly partners, and again, I've had a lot of long-term relationships with my dealers, I don't want to sell you anything right now. I want to wait for you to be up and running at 100% and get back when we all can get back together. Because that's what partnership is. Partnership isn't one person saying, oh yeah, now buy this from me. And the last reason is because I have a team. It's not the Christine show, right? I have a team of people that do these, I know, it's hard to believe. I have a team of presenters, trained, educated, interesting, intelligent women who do these presentations with me. So I don't want to have it dubbed 100 times. And I want to get my team back to work, just like my dealer partners want to get their team back to work. So what I've done instead, Jeff, is I'm transitioned to Auto Careers Group. So Auto Careers Group is a company that does recruiting, candidate placement, client employment in the automotive segment. I was very fortunate that when this first happened, and I made the decision that the Car Lady and the Know Your Car Night events would wait until 2021, until we can get it back together, that I had 3 or 4 job offers almost immediately to get back into the industry, which I'm very grateful for. One was with 2 other opportunities were fantastic. But in the end, I chose our Auto Careers Group because I wanted to continue to be of service. I didn't want to put myself in a position where somebody says, oh, there's the Car Lady. Oh, what's she selling now? All I ever want to do is sell the Car Lady, right? All I ever want to do is what I'm doing. But until then, let me be of service to you, right? So if you're looking for a new general manager, service manager, sales manager, advisor, give me a call, because I visit over 100 stores and chances are I know somebody. So if I can be of service to you, that's what I'm interested in. So that's why I just started with Auto Careers Group. But the Car Lady will be back in 2021, and when it's safe to do so, and when people welcome me home. I'm very grateful again that all of my dealerships had all said they were going to have me back as soon as we can. And you know why? I think it's because I didn't try to sell them anything else. I know what I've got, and I like to stay in my lane.
So if somebody reaches out to you next week,
yeah,
Christine, I want to have an event.
Yep.
A, will you do it? And
I'll
B,
do it. So if you
how
want to
will you
do a
set it
Zoom
up?
event, I would do it. right?
What about a
So
live
Guelph
event?
Toyota is the first one to reach out to me. They said, oh, we miss our Know Your Car nights, right? It's been a while. We've been doing a lot of keys to curb delivery. Christine, can you do a Know Your Car night virtually? Yes, I can. Now, I'm not going to put it on videotape and sell it to you, but if I can partner with your marketing team and do a Zoom for all your customers at once, perhaps a quick 30-minute presentation on the vehicles, the warranties, the maintenance, the COVID policies, then I'm happy to do that. Yeah, I mean, I want to work, that's for sure.
Well, you're not alone there, are you?
No, no. Well, that's why, like this Auto Careers Group, boy, oh boy, there's a lot of good people looking right now. And there's a lot of good people who just need a new opportunity and a door opened for them. And I'm happy to do it if I can.
Well, we've had some of our best attended AutoHub shows are HR related.
Mm-hmm.
And there's certainly been a lot of talk about the fact that a lot of people, a lot of good people are looking now because they were gainfully employed for a long time.
Yeah.
And they were gainfully employed for a long time and they don't know where to look.
Yeah. And of course, and nobody wants to be in a pile of resumes, right? Like the pile is getting bigger and bigger, and the sales manager or the general manager at this point doesn't have time to do all that. So Auto Careers Group, we actually we go through the resume, we do a resume review. First we do a pre-screen, then we do a resume review, then we do an actual interview. Because there's no sense on me sending you a candidate that is not going to be 100% for you. Then we do a testing program called Right Fit Plus, where we take the candidate through a series of testing: IQ, sales, and personality. I loved the personality test. I'm an A type. You would have known.
Oh,
And
no, don't tell me you use one of those tests that puts everybody into the quadrants.
no, it was better than that. It's a very good test. I was really surprised. And then we do an IQ test. So, I mean, it's not hard, but we as a company like to pre-screen everybody. And there's some people, like right now, for example, we're looking for a general manager in the East GTA area with a very progressive group. Some of the people that I have in my database would be great, and some people are very great in their own way, but they're not for my clients. So I'm making my way through those right now.
So what's the benefit of you with Auto Careers instead of Jesse, who's great, who hung up, by the way? So Jesse,
Bye,
we don't get to
Jesse.
compliment live.
Yeah, because she probably was on this call thinking, why isn't she talking about Auto Careers Group?
She left in a huff. And Jordan's very good, and
yeah, very good.
it's why contact you instead of them?
Well, there's no reason to contact me over any of those people. Those people are professionals. They've been in this industry a long time. They are my direct supervisors. You could contact them, or you could contact me if you know me, right? Because some people already know me personally in the industry. I mean, I figure I've done 23 years of shows. I do 230 shows a year. I've met a lot of people. Yeah. So if you know me and you want me to help you, just reach out to me. I'm the account executive there now, and I'm here to help. I'm learning every day my new role, but you could reach out to Jesse and Jordan too. If you know them, do whatever you're comfortable with. That's the most important thing. But I did want to say again that the Car Lady Canada will be back in 2021 when it's safe to do so. And if you are interested in a virtual event, that is, you would like me to come on and do a Zoom with your team or with your own customers, we could do it in quadrants, like so many per Zoom, but I leave that up to my stores. I don't want to sell them anything that when they're trying to get staff back, right? People are the most important part of the car business. We're not in the car business, we're in the people business. So getting teams back together, getting numbers out the door. Now I gotta admit, numbers have been better, right? Numbers have been better across the board, but there's going to be a space for me, Jeff. And the space for me going to be that the delivery in COVID times has not been what it should be and has been keys to curb or even worse, I mean, I know people like it, but even worse, remote delivery. If you get the car delivered to you at home, how does that teach you anything about the service department? Right? So there will be a space for me, Jeff, and I'll be ready.
Yeah, well, that's a big thing right now.
Yeah.
It's this virtual delivery, you know, the trailer going to the house and a person shaking their hand certainly leaves a lot of opportunity, but a lot of challenges as well.
Yeah. Because how does that teach anybody about maintenance? How does that teach anybody about that we carry WeatherTech? How does that teach anybody about our winter tire program, detailing parts and accessories? It doesn't. So there'll be a space for me when it's ready to, when it's time to do so. And I don't want to make customers uncomfortable either, right? Like I can get 50 people together in a room, but is that what's in the best interest of the dealership right now? Is that in the best interest to phone customers of the dealership and say, come on in, we've got a free show for you? If we do it, this is my thoughts. Once we get back to it, here's my thoughts. I think we did, instead of having 50 people in a room, we break it into 2 groups with the socially distanced seating, and we do 2 shows condensed. So we do a shorter version of the event twice rather than this massive en masse group. So say for a store that typically gets 30 people, you would do 15 people at 6 p.m. seating, 15 people at a 7 p.m. seating. You'd have a sanitation station at the door, and I would clean the chairs in between. I'm ready for that. Bring on 2021.
Well, it sounds good. And, you know, and as the saying goes, hopefully before then we'll all be able to have some level of treatment or something else.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to do the vaccination? I know we shouldn't talk about politics, but.
I won't go on record. I'm a big believer in doing things right, and maybe not the first round, but quick second round.
Yeah, you know, that's I'm to your point. Doing things right. Doing things right for the car lady means that I respect my dealer partners, and that's why I didn't come out with a big line of videos. That I've been waiting for them to contact me. Maybe people think I'm being silly. Maybe people think I'm being not aggressive enough, or, you know, a business person, but I'm in the people business. So I want to wait till it's safe for my dealer partners. And then I think that they will be more receptive to having everyone back at that time when it's safe for everyone to do so. I don't want it to be a PR nightmare for the dealership. I really don't.
Well, I admire you for that, because it's, you know, yes, a lot of dealers think it's just business as usual now with some plastic screens and some gloves and masks, but it's a case of, while everybody wants to get back to the old ways, we got to do it a little carefully, and who knows what's going to happen. I
hope they sell every car they've got. I hope they bring all their staff back. I hope they sell every unit on that lot. And when you're ready, and I'll be in touch with you. I'll be in touch with you at the end of the year. Let's see how the school thing goes, right? And when in 2021, that's my goal, right? Let's start fresh. 2021, turn the page. Anybody hears the word 2020, they're sick to death of it anyway. Let's turn the page. The car lady will be back, and she will help you get those customers integrated from the service to sales department into the service department. That's my goals.
Terrific. Christine, thank you. Does anybody have any questions out there? Ian looks like he's just all keen and eager to say something.
I got to show you this. These are my fuzzy dice. Look at somebody made for me. These are fuzzy dice to go in my mirror, and they got little car ladies on them. Look at that.
Cool.
I got a connection with Amazon. You can get rich with that.
I know, aren't those great?
Well, did you see that woman on, I think it was on Dragon's Den? She made those eyelashes for cars.
Yeah.
And she's in the middle of the demo, and she's got like an epoxy thing that glues these eyelashes on the car, like headlights, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's busy saying how there's this huge market. And then during the demo, the eyelash falls off the car. And I was like, yeah, things not to do badly in a demo on a show about raising money for your business.
Right? And I've been asked to shuck a lot of stuff, right? Everybody, air fresheners, this, that. Everybody wants my customer list, but I say, no, no, no. I stay in my lane. I know who my people are, and they know me, they can trust me.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think you hit it really right there, which is basically the car business years ago was about customers, and today it's about customers more than ever.
I reached out to all my clients after this happened, right? When the phone started ringing, and it was a bad scene for a while. Like I gotta admit, I was pretty depressed, right? Because I lost a great year. And, when I reached out to my dealer partners, they were like, we're just grateful to hear from me. But I just wanted to again reiterate that the over communication is just ridiculous. There's no need for that. But if people want to reach out to me, and I get questions all the time, if people want to reach out to me, they can connect with me on my social media. And my social media is at The Car Lady Canada. So people can find me there.
If I can interject, we have a question from Felicity.
Yeah.
Christine, as a vendor and the car lady, of course,
Yeah.
what is one simple recommendation you would make to other women in the industry? By the way, Felicity loves Ian stories. Don't encourage them.
Oh, yeah. I'll be talking for days, so don't do that. Yeah. I'll leave you back. I just had to give you those two thoughts.
My one piece of advice for women in the car business is a piece of advice that I would give anyone in business, and that is no doesn't always mean no. It means maybe not right now, right? So if you hear, oh, I'd like to apply for this job, no. I'd like to be promoted to trainer, no. It doesn't mean no, it means not right now, and you just circle back, circle back, circle back. As a vendor, I am the queen of follow-up. You ask anyone, I will email you until you're dead. No, just kidding. But truly, no doesn't mean no forever. No just means either you are not authorized to give me a yes. I don't need a yes from you because I'm going to get it somewhere else. Or no, I'll circle back. Not right now. So those are the three reasons why I always say no doesn't really mean no in business.
I love that point, even though it's a controversial line, but it's a very good point.
In business.
In business.
In business.
Anybody else? Any questions? Nope. Okay. Christine, thank you so much.
I got one comment.
Oh boy, I thought I was getting away with it. Go for it.
So I just did an MBA, and one of the first classes we did was a negotiation class, which was kind of amateurish for me because I've been negotiating for years. But the thing that I thought was really interesting about the class is they had a student from the year previous via Skype, I think, or Zoom, talking about her experience negotiating as a woman. So she works in the entertainment industry. So a lot of the women in the class, and I think 60% of the class was female, which was a first for the program, by the way. They were asking about, how do you negotiate a better salary and how do you negotiate, a better job and all this kind of stuff. And she says, well, it's really simple answer. She says, first of all, prepare better than anybody else and do it a lot. So this was an example that she gave, which was a little bit crazy. What she did with her boss is she would negotiate for a raise or for something every 6 months. So even if she didn't get anything, she'd do it every 6 months, like clockwork. So what ended up happening was, since she did it so much, maybe she got vacation time, maybe she got a bonus, whatever. She kept doing it over and over and over again to the point where basically, I guess he hated it. But the thing that was interesting about her is she said, I negotiate for a living in the entertainment industry, mostly with men, but sometimes with women. So they asked her, they said, okay, well, what's the harder negotiation? She goes, well, first of all, most people negotiate aren't prepared. So if you're prepared, you're ahead. But she said it was much tougher to negotiate with women on the other side than men. Because she found the men to be, even though they might have been tough, they were willing to work with her. Whereas she said the women in general were working against her most of the time. So those are a couple thoughts not from me, but from a woman who does that. And I've actually written an article about that. I wasn't able to use the video because she wouldn't allow me and the school wouldn't allow me. But the general gist of that is in an article I wrote on LinkedIn about how to negotiate anything, but specifically as a woman, because I felt that that was a needed article. So I don't know how many people looked at it, but it goes over the nuts and bolts. And if you haven't read Chris Voss's book on negotiating like an FBI investigator, pick up the book. It's outstanding. Probably the best negotiation book I've read in a long time.
FBI and a hostage negotiator. Gotta like that one. Thank you, everybody. Christine, thank you again. Felicity, John, Sandra, Warren, Matt.
Jesse.
Oh, Jesse, yes, the great Jesse. Now make
The
sure
great
you
Jesse
see
Kessel.
this
So if
video.
I just want to say before we sign off, if you're looking for a job or a new career and I can help you in any way, give me a call, shoot me an email. Everything is completely confidential. You know me, you know you can trust me. Give me a call. I'll see everybody in 2021 as the car lady. But if you'd like me to do Zoom with your guests, I'm happy to do it.